Welcome everyone to Catherine's Plates, where it's always simple, easy, and delicious in my kitchen. Today I'm bringing you a summer squash and stuffing casserole. So delicious. What a perfect side for this season right now. Who doesn't have squash and zucchini laying around, right? This recipe takes me way back to when I was a child. My mom would make squash everything, including casserole, and my favorite was pickled squash because we had tons of those in the garden. Okay, so I'm going to get started, and what I want to do first off is show you how I take the squash and zucchini, and we're going to soften it a little bit before we put it into the casserole. So let's get started. Over medium-high heat, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of butter. As the butter is melting, I'm going to go ahead, I've already diced up 1 onion. I'm going to go ahead and add it to my pan. Now I'm using a large skillet, because after we get everything done, we're going to place everything into here to make the whole big mixture. I'm going to saute the onions down until they're nice and soft. And what I like to do is just go ahead and season them with a little bit of salt, just a very little bit, kind of like a pinch, and some pepper. Really bring out the flavor of these onions. I'm just going to cook them down for about 2 to 3 minutes till they're nice and softened. Now while that's happening, I've got my squash and zucchini. What I'm going to do is cut these into 1/4-inch rings. And take the top off and the back end. Now I've already washed off and dried off my squash and the zucchini. Now if you don't want to use the zucchini, you don't have to, just get more squash. So we're going to go about 1/4 inch. Now because I grew up with a lot of squash and zucchini, I love making dishes with them. And my favorite is zucchini boats. I have lots of recipes out there, and I'll link them down below if you want to check them out. And I have another squash recipe out there, so yeah, check them out down below in the description box. And just remember, you can go to www.catherinesplates.com to get more ideas. Now we're wanting about 6 cups for this recipe of the squash zucchini, or just the squash. Now every now and then just check on your onions and make sure that they're doing okay. Now if you want to cut your squash and zucchini up more, you can do that also. I just like the texture of them, and since I'm cooking these down, that I can have them a little bit bigger like that. I like to use the zucchini. It gives it a nice color to the dish. Nice summer, spring. I think that's plenty right here. Okay, my onions are nice and brown and softened. It's going to add a delicious flavor to this casserole. I'm going to put 1/2 cup of chicken broth in, stir it into the onions. We're going to bring this to a boil. Now that we've got it to a boil, what I'm going to do is take the sliced squash and zucchini. I'm going to start adding it to the broth here. We're going to turn down the heat to a medium or a medium-low. I'm going to put a lid on. We're just going to cook this for 3 to 4 minutes, and that is it. We just want to kind of steam the squash and zucchini so that they get kind of soft. Okay, that's looking really good. Now you don't want them too soft because they still have to cook in the oven. What we're going to do now is add everything into the pot. First thing we're going to start off with is our cans of cream of soup. Now I have cream of celery and I have cream of chicken. Now you can combine, mix, match, whatever you want to do. If you want to do like a cream of mushroom, you can do that also. So I'm just doing 1 can of cream of chicken, 1 can of cream of celery, 1 cup of sour cream. Now we're going to go ahead and turn off the burner. 1/2 cup of shredded cheddar cheese. I've got some green chilies. Now this is optional. This is a 4-ounce can. I'm only going to put 1/2 of that in. It's going to add a delicious flavor to this. There we go. Now let's talk stuffing. This is a 12-ounce bag of herb seasoned classic stuffing. It's just a dry mix. Any flavor you want. You can even do the stovetop stuffing if you want to put that in there. You just want to make sure that it's the dry mix. So I'm going to put 1/2 of this bag in. All right, let's mix this very carefully. We want to make sure the stuffing is nice and mixed in, and the soups, the cheese, the sour cream, and everything is nicely mixed together and well combined. I'm just going to give this a little taste. Oh my gosh. I can't wait till that's done. But we're not done yet. We're going to go ahead and prep our baking dish. I'm using a 9 by 13. Just going to spray it on the bottom and the sides. We're going to take our mixture and we're going to place it into our baking dish. Alright, now I'm not mashing it down because I don't want this to be mushy. I'm just spreading it evenly, giving it some room. That's so good. I am ready now to make the topping for our squash casserole. So in a medium bowl, I'm going to take the rest of the stuffing. Now so that would leave 6 ounces. I'm going to add 1/2 cup of shredded cheddar cheese, about 1/4 cup of some chicken broth. Now I have 1/2 cup here, but we're going to see if we're going to need to add any more. And then I've got 5 tablespoons of melted butter. I'm going to mix this all together. We want to make sure that the stuffing is nice and coated with the butter and the broth. Okay, I might add the rest of the broth. Oh yeah, that looks really good. Make sure you go to the bottom and come up. Make sure everything is incorporated. All right, I'm going to take this out of the way. I'm going to bring my squash casserole back over here, and then I'm going to crumble this all over it. I'm going to kind of pick up the squash and that and just kind of lay it over it too, so it looks nice. Yeah, like that. Putting it there so that we can see all the prettiness of this. Don't be afraid to get in there and do that. There we go. I'm just poking everything up a little bit so that you can definitely tell that there's squash and zucchini in there. It's time to place this in the oven that's been preheating at 350 degrees. We're going to cook this for 30 minutes. I'm going to pull it out and I'm going to give it a try. You want to make sure that your squash and zucchini are cooked through to the texture that you desire. So if you need to add a little extra time, you can certainly do that. I just pulled this out of the oven. I'm going to allow it to rest for a few minutes. Okay, it's been 5 minutes. I am ready to dive in. Look at that. Summer squash and stuffing casserole. You know I'm going in for a bite right now. Y'all, take your summer squash to another level. So delicious. Add your zucchini too. Give it some color. Oh my gosh, it's so amazing. I think my plate is this one right here. All right, make sure you comment down below what you think of my summer squash and stuffing casserole. Give me a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and that bell notification so you'll always know when my shows are posted. I'm on Facebook and also www.catherinesplates.com, my recipe blog, where you can find a ton of recipes. Okay, I will see you on my next episode.